All right, grasshoppers, here it is. It is Monday. It's Labor Day. Everybody else is on holidays except the two. Mark Puttenvik,
Yeah.
Tom Laidlaw. It's because we've got nothing else to do.
That's exactly pretty much it. Yeah. So put a big L here. Yeah.
Oh, no. L for lovely. Lovely.
Yeah,
there she is. Look at Beth in the background there.
Yeah. Hey, Beth, you're on air there, kid. So
You gorgeous creature.
don't do anything untold.
Gorgeous creature she
She
is.
got in 10 miles on Friday. How many miles you do today, Beth? 6.
Wow. That's good.
Yeah.
Wow.
Can you imagine?
Nice.
Yeah.
A discipline. That right there.
Oh, yeah. I was just reading.
Did you invite him to run with you?
Oh, yeah. I'll talk to you off the air about that.
Yeah.
Well, we can talk about. Well, I'll talk to you off the air.
Yeah. Up there.
All
right. So just to be clear, we've got to make sure we repeat this over and over. Mark Puttenvik has Patriot training systems. Can train anybody in any universe.
Just have to be a patriot.
Oh, man. So Mark and I are very good friends. But we don't, he lives in New Jersey. I'm in Connecticut. We don't actually see each other in person, once or twice a year.
Every once in a while. Yeah.
Yes, we do shows. Now, we're like brothers, though, too.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
We're twins.
Yeah.
Fortunately for him. And I told my sons this weekend, I love my sons to death. They're fantastic human beings. They treat me great. They wanted to get together this weekend. And I said, listen, it's not you guys. I'm not going to make up an excuse. I'm just in a foul mood.
Me too.
And I said to Mark before we started the show, he said, yeah. Oh, man.
All weekend.
What is it? It seems like, and again, you and I are both very positive. Ron Jameson, thank you very much.
Hey, Ron.
Labor Day to you, you magical veteran, you.
You're a good man, Ron.
Yes, he is. So I said to them, I said, listen, I love you guys to death. I'm not going to lie to you and make up some excuse, but I hate everybody right now. I just want, I want to be left alone. They were dying laughing. Especially my oldest son, Shane, he was like,
I get like that too often.
Oh, man.
I try to hold it back, but it comes through. Yeah.
So I think I told you this guy who's actually a big Ranger fan, plays men's league hockey, lives in the neighborhood. He decides he's just going to walk his dog with no leash on. And I stepped, like, there's a little opening. I got a gated in deck. So I can't see most people. There's a little hole there you can get in and out. So I see him. I said, can you please put your dog on a leash? And he's like, oh, he's smarter than everybody else. Like, okay, but what the hell does that have to do with that? So of course
Officer Tom.
Oh yeah. The blood pressure pumps up a little bit. Right. So I step out and he just lets the dog run right over to me. And I didn't want to hoof it, but I had to kick it a little bit to get away. And I love dogs. So and he starts walking up on me like he wants to do something. I'm like, what?
You want to fight you?
Yeah. He's serious. So the next night I'm out back deck again. And now he wants to come over. He tells like this peaceful mood. He wants to talk. He says, Tom, can I talk? I said, no, get the F away from me. I do not want to talk to him. Turned around, beeline, walked away.
Good.
Oh, God.
Well, sometimes, like we've had this discussion. Sometimes you just have to say it how it is at that given time, at that moment.
I know. And it's like, I don't want to get like that. It's just like, I think you and I both saying we're mature. We help other people. Yeah. We're good people. We tell the truth, follow the rules. So you have to snap like that. It's like almost disappointing, right?
Yeah. So we were talking about this last night, Beth and I. They're just such a total, it seems like a collapse of societal rules right now. I go into the 7-Eleven yesterday to get gum and some stuff. And I said, I'm kidding around. Like, are you guys smoking weed in here? And I go, no, the guy that was just before you came in smoking a joint into the 7-Eleven. And the guy was like older dude, like my age, And I'm thinking to myself, this is where I can't stroll in here with a bottle of vodka and start chugging it back.
Yeah, I know.
You can't even go in there with a cigarette. This guy's smoking weed. Like, and
it's everything, I think, for you, and I think I'll speak for you. You can chime in here. It's everything for us to not fall into that trap and say, well, everybody else is just doing what the heck they want to do, so I'm going to do, because that's the wrong way to live. I don't want to live like that.
Of course. Yeah. Even Kramer said on Seinfeld, without rules, you have chaos.
Oh, man.
He's right. But I was like,
yeah, people just don't care.
Yeah. And then there's a guy that just moved into the community. He's a rough and tumble guy. I can tell. He's from Jersey City.
Oh.
I actually knew his grandfather, Al Certo, was a trainer, quite renowned boxing trainer. And Al was kind of like, walk the edge. But anyway, this guy's now walking around the neighborhood smoking a joint. I don't really care, but there's kids. You got kids and like, you can't do that.
Isn't that the thing? Like, you really don't care. Like, the dog's walking around without a leash on. Okay, is there bigger things in the world that are problems?
Yeah.
Yes. But it's just, there's that dog, then there's another dog.
Right.
There's a cat wandering on my deck. I got crazy ladies staring into my deck. Man, it's like, wow. I had a woman come over there, really nice person. Never met her before. So when I go out and do my morning video at 3:53, I'm out there for 8 seconds maybe.
Mhm.
And I'd say, "Hey, grasshoppers, Monday morning."
Yeah.
So she wants to leave her windows open, and apparently me doing this at 3:53 wakes her up. Well, I'm sorry, but yeah, I mean, I can't. Can I not walk and talk outside? Like it's so she comes over and has the nerve to, and again, very nice person, knocks on the door, and I can't. Like, it's an older woman, so I'm not going to argue with her. But I'm
Right.
yeah. So it puts you in a spot like, okay, so let me get this straight. We try to help other people.
Yeah.
And people come over and because they want to live a certain lifestyle, I have to change
Mhm.
my life, right? But I can't say anything about it because it's like, oh,
It's, and again, it gets back to like, I just don't understand, like, even putting the shopping cart back.
yeah, oh,
Like, it's
Man.
the thing's right there, man.
yeah,
And
Yeah,
I,
the
and
de-
I,
oh,
to your
Go
point,
ahead,
like
go.
it was about 6 months ago. I was in that mood.
Yeah.
And the dude gets, and I go, "You're not going to put that back?" And he
Oh.
looks at me, and then he looks back at me like real, goes, "No, I'm not." And I went,
You know what I do now too? If somebody leaves it there, I'm taking mine back to the parking spot for the cart, so I'll take his or hers and just take it. I say, I got it. Like, be real nice. Like, I got it.
years ago, I mean, 100 years ago, I was roofing, right? And I was in my 20s, and I worked with these two guys like yours, two brothers the size of you, each of them,
Yeah.
big dudes, right?
Yeah.
And we had this old banana yellow station wagon that when we did aluminum siding, you keep all the spare pieces that you cut, you snip,
Yeah.
and you bring it down, you weigh it in, you get like back then like $80 for the whole
Sure.
thing. But anyway, so we pull into this like in Franklin Lakes, which is a higher end community area. We pull into this, I won't say the store, but in a parking lot, and we're walking in to get like sandwiches or something. And this lady pulls in a really nice car. She gets out, and instead of like the shopping cart was in her way, so she just shoves it right into Harvey's car. And we walk back, and we're like, "What are you doing?" She goes, "Well, your car's all beat up anyway." And she just walks, and she keeps walking. So we went in, we got our sandwiches, we got back in the thing, and then he got out. He picked up the shopping cart and laid it very gently on the roof of her car, and we drove away.
Oh, nice.
Well, it's probably the wrong thing to do, but
Yeah. But you know what though? It's like you say to yourself, "Yeah, I'm not taking it anymore." It's just like,
Well, it was like that movie with what's
I'm
his name?
mad. Yeah, what is that?
Yeah,
Mad
yeah.
as hell. I'm not taking it anymore.
Well, that one, and also with Kirk Douglas's kid, Michael
Yeah,
Douglas, where he
yeah,
was
yeah,
he just
yeah,
snapped. He
yeah,
just had enough.
yeah.
Yeah.
Do
Forget
you
the
think
name
it's
of the film.
do you think it's getting worse? Like, I believe it's
Oh,
getting
yeah.
worse. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, look, and we're gonna delve into a little bit of politics here.
Yep,
Very
go
little.
ahead. Yep.
I just read in the paper yesterday. So you have always they use the term migrants,
Right.
whatever you want to frame it. I don't really care. They're human beings. They deserve to live,
totally.
and they deserve to live in dignity and everything else. The problem is we don't know who they are.
Right.
So there's a guy within 2 months has been arrested 6 times. He's an illegal from Venezuela,
Right.
and 2 of them were very violent. Well, he went after somebody with a knife and stuff, and he just pushed a woman down or something. But point is, what is going on?
Yeah.
That like our cities, we just have no law now. There's no cash bail. I could walk into CVS. I could walk out with anything as long as it doesn't reach a dollar value of I think $900 or something.
Yeah.
I mean, it's insane.
Well, how
It's
about the
insane.
Roosevelt? Is it the Roosevelt Hotel where they've got
Yeah.
all the migrants? And one guy attacked somebody with one of the workers with a stop sign, cut him open for 6
Yes.
inches,
Yeah.
and same thing, no charges.
Well, I think the guy he didn't hear me. I told you to stop, and then finally the guy just said,
Oh God.
no, it's incredible. And it really makes you, so there's two sides of this story. One is that by all indications, if you fight back and you win, you're going to jail.
Yeah, I know.
It's insane. We had
I
the old guy in a bodega, right? They threw him in Rikers Island until they got enough media and political heat to
Right.
pull him out because he protected himself. And the kid, well, again, it's just insane.
I
It's
know.
insane.
It's like what? Okay, so obviously the mayor of New York City and
Mhm.
other people make these decisions to have all these immigrants living on the streets because there's
Right.
not enough room in the hotel. So now they're flooding in, and obviously we're the taxpayers are paying for all this. And
Well,
again,
now
like you said, these are not bad people. The people
No,
themselves,
not
they
at
need
all.
to be helping. It's great we're helping people, but
You know
Man.
what? So there's another story I read. I don't know if I mentioned it was a while back about a woman who came up here with her husband. They're 2 teenage boys, and she was pregnant. She was like 8 months pregnant. As soon as they got to New York, he split. He took
Yeah.
off with another woman.
yeah, I saw that.
And now she's in the subway from
Yeah.
10 a.m. to 6 p.m. selling churros with the baby strapped to her back.
Right.
I mean, the respiratory issues that kid's going to have.
Oh, I know.
And
right?
her two 15 and 16-year-old kids are just wandering the streets.
Yeah.
So it's a recipe for just nothing but good.
I know.
And I feel bad for her. I mean, that's awful. I mean,
All
you
right.
know,
So the conspiracy theories, well, maybe it's not conspiracy theories. Some people believe this, and I tend to believe this more and more all the time. So you get BlackRock, Vanguard,
mhm.
State Street, all these the Rockefellers, all these people, uber wealthy, big funds worth trillions of dollars. They own most of the media outlets. They own the pharmaceutical companies. They own the politicians because they pay for their campaigning.
Mhm.
So they're in control of everything. There's a small minority of people that are really in control of making all these decisions. So they're not living in downtown Manhattan where all the immigrants are, right?
No.
So they're making decisions that benefit them financially,
Yeah.
right? Like sell inexpensive food at McDonald's and Wendy's.
Mm-hmm.
So people that don't have much money, that's all they can eat. They'll get fat and diabetes and heart disease, and then they'll take the medication that the wealthy people
Exactly.
manufacture.
I think there's direct, we talk about the military industrial complex, and
Yeah.
it really does exist. I mean,
Yeah.
just look at the money we're pumping into Ukraine. The DOD, the biggest lobbyists in the country are defense contractors. That's a whole nother different subject. But there seems to be a pharmacological industrial complex where they get you sick on food,
Yeah.
and then they have the pill that's going to put a Band-Aid on it. You never
Yeah.
really get better.
Yeah.
And it's interesting too, because Facebook has that like a news feed.
Yeah.
So it goes by your algorithm and it kind of figure out what you're into. So I get a lot of articles on longevity and things of that nature. And they're all like, yeah, of course. Like one is, I'm reading yesterday, less likelihood of Alzheimer's if you have, excuse me, higher lean body mass when you get older.
Yeah.
Well, of course. Yeah, because what Alzheimer's, it's a fatty protein that gets stuck in your brain and
Right.
basically jams everything up. So there's no cognition.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's another reason you should not be eating anything other than organic foods and stay in shape and work
Right.
out. And then there was another article, woman, 104 years old, Dumbo, Brooklyn, swims 45 minutes every morning.
Yeah.
104 years old.
Move.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. And again, it gets back to, so you look at, when you watch television at night, it's just one pharmacological
God.
adaptation, and the side effects,
Yeah.
like it'll even kill your neighbor.
Well, and again, I guess you can't believe everything you see in these reels on Instagram and everything like that, but there's so much educational stuff out there about what the foods really are. Like, so there's the health label showing the ingredients. Well, is that really the ingredients? Or is there other stuff in there? Right.
Yeah. Well, the other problem is if you are of a certain economic strata in this nation, there's only certain foods you can afford to buy,
Yeah.
and they're bad for you. At McDonald's, you have $5 for a meal. I mean,
Yeah.
and if you go into those neighborhoods, that's all you see: McDonald's, Burger King, KFC, and then bodegas and liquor stores. So it's like they trap these people into these, areas where they live, and they don't give them any healthy food choices or alternatives to that,
Right.
other than that lifestyle. It's unfortunate.
So think about these guys that run like State Street and BlackRock and Vanguard, sitting in the big mansions. They're insulated from all that. They could care less.
Yeah.
Right? A healthy older person is not a good client for them. They want
No,
people that are unhealthy, taking medication, getting surgeries,
absolutely.
eating their bad food.
So years ago, I mean, a long time ago, I was teaching an adult hockey clinic here in New Jersey, and out in the parking lot talking to some of the guys. And one of the guys he worked for the Securities Exchange Commission, and he was an investigator. And he leaned back on a car with a beer in his hand. He said to me, "Mark, remember this rest of your life. Behind all great wealth is a great crime.
Yeah, that's cool.
You can't make that kind of money unless you're doing something a little shady,
Right, or using other people.
You're just working within the confines. You're not really breaking the law, but you're still a piece of garbage."
Yeah.
In my book. Yeah.
Ron James has got a question here. We are going to attack. What's the first step to get on diabetes menu and get back on track? Well, what we're talking foods. So it isn't limited to, but very often it's an overweight issue. That's not always the case, right? There's some people that are not overweight but still have diabetes. But
Correct.
it's healthy food, moving. If you're prescribing medication, my feeling is that you should take the medication, but try to wean off. Like get your healthy food. Obviously, with the approval of the doctor. Hard part of the doctors is that's how they make money too, right? They don't want you healthy.
Well,
right?
and they also don't adhere, most of them anyhow. I mean, there are a lot of very healthy doctors that train, but there are also the other guys that don't, and they're not up on it. I mean, they don't know, they couldn't tell you how to to lose weight because they're a mess. They're overweight
Yeah.
and they're smoking cigarettes and everything else too.
Right. Yeah, and their life is okay. Come to the doctor. We'll give you medication, do surgeries. It's not fitness and health and everything to stop it from happening and to erase all those effects.
Well,
It's-
the other thing, so I had my ACL reconstructed in 1984. All right, so it's like 1,000 years ago. They didn't even have arthroscopic, so I got the two big zipper cuts, and I got a screw
yeah.
through there.
Yeah.
And at the time, it held up, and then I went to see my orthopedic. It was getting a little loose, and he said to me, "Well, let's take a look." And he said it wasn't so bad, but he goes, I said, "What if it does go again? What's my option?" He goes, "Really, not much. I mean, I could put a. They have artificial ligaments now that are made out of carbon." He goes, "I just got back from a seminar in Bermuda. Like what they do is they take them down to Bermuda. It's a 45-minute seminar, and then they wine and dine them,
right.
for 3 days, which is all right, whatever. It's the game they play." But he said that he looked into it, and there's only 2% efficacy. So only 2% of the people that get this particular surgery have a positive outcome, or it's negative. It's just nothing is better, nothing's worse. He said to me, he goes, "But I know a guy in Montclair doing 5 a week." Like in other words, because he's making probably whatever it was per surgery.
Yeah, 2% success rate.
Right. And he's
so
doing
what?
5 a week. He's got one schedule every day.
Man.
And that's why I stayed with that doctor for so long, because he was honest, and he said surgery's not benign. We fix one thing, but something else is going to flare up.
Yeah, I know.
Because it's injury. Surgery's injury.
Right.
Further
We get sucked into this like, okay, this is just the way it's supposed to be. So I'm supposed to work till I'm 60 or 65 years old, have a retirement. Yeah, have a retirement plan. Go to doctors all the time, get medications, get all the surgeries that want me to get, go into an old folks home.
Well, here's another way to look at it. So we all saw Mitch McConnell again, just froze. Right? He just froze. Right?
What? I'm sorry to interrupt you, but that's embarrassing.
And these are the people that are running our world.
I know.
So, but yet, Piers Morgan, who's that British guy,
jerkwad.
He says, "Look at Mitch." He said, "But last night in London, I ran into Sir Mick Jagger, and he's doing backflips.
Yeah,
and he's the same age.
Yeah,
So and the thing. So this is cool. Do you know he does 7 miles each concert?
Oh,
him running around on the stage. They whatever.
Wow.
It's 7 miles.
Oh, that's cool.
And you look, he works out like
Here's a fine human being. I'm a type 2 diabetic since I started daily exercise and avoiding sugars. I'm back to low. Nice, good job. Exactly.
Yeah, that's
it's
because
just
type 2 is completely lifestyle, and it can be So Brian's on the road to recovery.
Good job, Brian.
Sure.
Excellent. Yeah. That's good discipline. There's just so much we can do to keep ourselves healthy with exercise and the foods we eat and what we put in our brain too, right? Oh man. Go ahead.
I was going to say, you and I are immersed into the world of fitness and training and athletics and sports and stuff. I think we both have to remember most people aren't, and they're so they have their thing they're doing, and they're just either they don't have the time to eat. Well, I shouldn't say that because we can all make the time to eat the proper food. They just don't have the
discipline,
motivation to do it.
Yeah.
Until it gets to a point they get motivated.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. I think it's how we look at fitness and health too, right? It's I believe we should look at it that it's not drudgery. It's like just part of in case you wash your hands, you brush your teeth. You should eat healthy foods and exercise. It just become part of your routine.
Well, Pat Mack, he's a Green Beret Ranger, and he's kind of he's got his own podcast. Cool dude. And he does a lot of fitness stuff. And he said, it's called fitness, not sickness.
Yeah. And we've talked about this, and I've learned this too, because when I coach, I made this mistake. So a lot of times in sports, coaches will use fitness as a punishment for lack of discipline, not winning. Yeah. So now those young kids grow up thinking, okay, well, so it's bad. If I'm working out that instead of having a plan to say, no, don't use fitness. Don't skate. In the hockey world, we call it bag skating, right? So don't skate the kids because they didn't play well. They had lack of discipline because now they're thinking, okay, this is a bad thing.
If you present it as it's gonna make us a better team. Yeah. And we make it a little competitive and have some fun with it.
Yep.
Definitely. like at the end of practice, just free bar, whatever, stuff like that. That's not punitive, but it's fun. But try to get that same mindset for skating.
You think about it too, and again, I had it done to me, and I did it to the other kids when I coached, and it's a mistake. It's just that, you think you're making a difference in their world, and you want to just make them a better hockey player in our world, but you want to make them a better person too.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Herb Brooks was great at when he first came in. Everything was scheduled out, so there's no
Mhm.
bag skates that were like just random. It was always scheduled. Like he had this guy Jack. Well, you know Jack Blatherwick? Did you?
Yeah.
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 He's
Yeah.
he's famous guy.
Captain
Great
Jack,
guy.
Cardiac
Yeah.
Jack.
Great guy. We loved him, right? Because
Yeah.
he had the theory. Listen, you don't have to skate for an hour and punish these guys. It's
Right.
like a 15, 20-minute skate for your conditioning. It's all planned. So we love
So-
Jack's here. All right.
I'm sure you had some of your clients that trained with Pavel Bury's father here in New Jersey in the off season.
I don't
know
think
if
I
you-
did,
if you-
but no.
So yeah, so Lou would like, especially the kids. Like I remember Colin White telling me, Lou made me stay home and train here. I guess after his rookie year, whatever it was, and he had them play tennis like every morning
Oh,
because it's great conditioning for hockey because it stops and starts.
Yeah.
It's completely anaerobic. It's and also one of the mindsets that we call it active recovery. Hockey, you got a lot of soft tissue injury over the year and stuff like that. So you want to heal up, but you still want to stay active. So,
Right.
so we tell guys, hey, do something that's an active recovery. Play tennis, play handball, anything but other than skate and get banged around. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And those guys, Whitey, and I forget who else, I think Peter Sikora and a bunch of those, they said that that was the best
Yep.
off season for training they've ever had.
There's our boy Danny Erickson. He agrees with you. He'd rather play tennis. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. What sound is this? Ba, ba.
Sheep.
So what's with this pickleball thing? What's going on here? Like everything's-
Well, you know what it is? I think everybody can play, which is cool.
Right.
And like it gets people
That's true.
moving.
That's true. Yeah. You know what? That's a very good point. I shouldn't
yeah.
mock it. Yeah.
And it's the flavor of the month. They just put a
Yeah.
couple courts in town here, and
Yeah.
But you're right. I mean, I look at it as like, am I going to play? Probably not.
Yeah.
Probably because I can't do the stops and starts. My knees are so shot. So,
I
but
know. There's just something about doing something because everybody else is doing it.
right,
Like, oh,
exactly. I didn't see Star Wars.
Yeah. I never watched. People bring up Seinfeld all the time. I've never watched the Seinfeld. episode.
Really? Yeah. A
Yeah.
lot of Bethany either. She just
Oh,
no,
yeah.
she refuses. I thought it was a funny show, but
Yeah.
anyhow.
Yeah, I'm not. It's not like if somebody said it wouldn't be some like major thing for me to watch. It's just never.
She's
Good-
totally anti.
Oh, it's
And
all
yet,
really-
and yet, in many ways, she reminds me of Wayne.
oh,
Yeah, one of the characters. Yeah,
that's right.
and she'd probably tell you about Herb Kramer. But anyway,
Which one's Herb? Is it the?
What's that?
Which one's Herb Kramer? Which I've seen like is it the big
Kramer's
three?
a tall, goofy guy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so have we helped ourselves? Have we vented a little bit here? We got things off our chest. What do you think?
A little bit. I feel a little better. Yeah. Oh, so this is another part of my my angst. So we came home from a vacation and TV wasn't working. So you never know: is it the box? Is it the
Right.
TV? So I get Optimum on the phone, our cable provider, and we go through all the things. It turns out it's a TV.
Oh.
So Friday we go to buy a TV.
Yeah.
And this is my fault. Right.
Right.
So I measure the TV. How would you measure a TV?
Well, I would think initially it would go like how wide is it? How tall is it? But it goes
Diagonal.
quarter to quarter. Yeah.
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 So I measure the old TV left to right. It's 43 inches. So I tell the guy I need it 43, and he sells us this really nice Sony. We get it home. I get it out of the box, and Beth goes, "That thing's puny."
Oh.
I hear that a lot too, but this was about the TV. Yeah. So turns out, yeah. So I had to bring that back, and so now I need a 55-inch, which is really 43 this way. Right.
Right.
So.
Right.
They don't have one in stock, and me, because I'm compulsive, I'm a typical American. I can't wait.
Yeah.
I buy a year-old one,
Oh.
same price,
Okay.
and they said no, it's fine. The only update was if you're a big gamer, which we don't.
Right.
There's something that they upgraded, but other than that, it's the same TV. Get it home, thing doesn't work. I
Oh.
can't get it to hook up to the internet for my Netflix. I'm on the phone with Sony. I can't hear her. I can't understand her. I'm thinking maybe it's
Ooh.
AI I'm talking to. Now I'm just raging.
Yeah.
Like, so now I'm off. And so that we're going back today for the third
Oh
time.
man.
Yeah.
It's kind of late now, but I've ordered lately. I get a smart TV. I put it on my back deck, and I just ordered off Amazon,
Mhm.
and they're pretty good. Yeah,
Yeah, no, this is the same. I mean, it's a nice TV if it works.
Right.
It's not working. And the first one was all on me. I didn't know
Yeah.
that's my
Oh,
fault.
I know.
But but you just always don't you always get the sense like these guys are so slick? They're going, hey, oh yeah, it does this. And,
I know.
And then you get home and you go, I don't see that.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
I don't believe it. Yeah, you know what? I don't believe anybody. I've got a really good mechanic, and he's a fantastic guy. Trust him totally. And I've had problems with my truck, and I've got like 120,000 miles on it, but I want to keep it. I was told, like, if you take care of this thing, you should keep it for like
You get
300,000
at least
miles.
easily.
Right.
Yeah.
So, changing all the fluids, the body looks great. There's no rust on it. The inside's immaculate. And I had to put the new engine in. So now it's making this sound like it's like grinding someplace. And you'll drive, like, he had it for a week. He had another mechanic look at it,
They
drove
can't
it
find
back
out.
and forth. Couldn't make the noise happen. I get the
Ah.
truck back, drive it for one day. The next day it starts grinding again.
Are you gaining weight? Maybe, I don't know.
That could be it. You know what? Maybe you're right. I should check the scale.
I was
it's
thinking
so-
of you last night. I was watching. It's like a Survivor game. It's on one of the networks. It's called something rat. And they had to eat all these bugs. I'm like,
Oh man,
I'm out. I couldn't do that.
They used to do that earlier in Survivor, but they stopped doing it now. So yeah, I don't know how I would react to that. I guess I would have had to do it if I'm gonna.
Some were still wiggling around. and what
Yeah.
have you. Yeah.
Oh, imagine that going into your stomach. You're
No.
thinking that's crawling around.
That was
inside.
like Joe Rogan's Fear Factor. That
Yeah.
Yeah.
Joe Rogan. I've gotten to like him more and more, like his stuff. He's
Oh,
out
he's
there.
cool.
He doesn't
But some
care.
shows he gets so stoned. It's funny. Like
Yeah, I
he
know,
gets
right?
so
Yeah.
blasted.
Yeah.
Especially when he has like, the comedian, the Southern dude, Ron White, big guy.
Yeah. Yep.
They had a bottle of something and they were smoking weed and they got just absolutely toasted because the show is like 2 hours long or something. It was pretty funny.
I wonder if Danny's being serious because I kind of agree with him here. It's a loosen up behind the wheel. I wonder if that's it. Like, because it seems like that.
Does he mean behind the tire? I guess.
Yeah, because it that could be it because
Right.
it doesn't happen like 99% of the time. Drives fine. It's perfect shape. But then all of a sudden it makes this grind, stops. Does it? It seems like more when you're turning as well too. So maybe that's what it is. Maybe you take the tires off. I saw an interview. Who's the guy that played in the series The Punisher? You know that actor?
The Punisher. Well, I think there was
Yeah, there's a few.
a few of them.
There's a dark-haired guy. He does a podcast
Yeah.
now. He had
Jeff
on
Pierce or something like that. I want to
something
say.
like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
He had a podcast. He does a podcast, and he had on the guy that I talk about all the time that did the poster, the Marine. Or the Navy SEAL.
Jason Redmond.
Yeah. So he was on. Very interesting interview. Very intelligent guy, like talking about his injury, how it happened,
Mhm.
the whole series of it, and just in general. But man, what a really, I shouldn't be surprised by the Navy SEALs, but just a really intelligent guy when he speaks and everything too. Right?
Oh yeah, no, he's the real deal, and I rewatched our interview with Chris, and
Yeah.
he was really great. I mean,
Yeah, he really was.
a lot of insight and from a different vantage point than we're used to a little bit,
Yeah.
because what's interesting about most of the guys, their pipelines are all different, how they end up being SEAL.
Yeah. And didn't he talk about he hated heights? Is that what he said? Or what's Chris did he say? I
No.
can't remember. There's something he didn't like, and it was kind of weird because
I think he didn't like swimming.
maybe that was it. Yeah.
Yeah, most of the
Yeah.
guys don't.
I know.
SEALs. Yeah.
Remember the guy
Yeah.
we had on before the first? There's a second swim across the Hudson. We
Mm-hmm.
had the guy on there was a recruiter.
Kenny, not
yeah,
Kenny. Kenny.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Kenny. And he
Great
came
guy.
out and said too, he just hates swimming. Like he just
Yeah.
despises it.
Yeah.
And we thought, okay, well, he must have grown up near the water. He grew up in Utah someplace, right? Or
Yeah,
something.
he was a
Yeah.
cowboy. I mean,
Yeah.
swimming for me, I grew up on a lake, so all I did was swim. But jumping out of planes, nah, you can keep that. I'm not good with
Oh
that.
man,
Nah.
I can't imagine the thought of going to the back of the airplane or wherever it is you jump out, and that decision
Yeah.
that you're going to jump now. My son did it, and he said you're so far away from the ground though that the height thing really doesn't get you. that much.
Yeah, would get me. Yeah, would get me when the door opens. I had a friend of mine. He went to Fort Benning, went to jump school, and he, because they do a lot of dry jumps off a tower, and he was fine with that. That I would be fine with because it's like
Yeah.
He said he got up there and he froze, and I said, "What happened?" He said, "The sergeant came up, said, what's the matter, son?" I said, "If you don't jump, this fist's going right up, you know where." So I
Oh.
said, "Did you jump?" He said, "Well, a little bit at first, but after a while, it didn't hurt so bad."
Speaking, I'll tell you, I'm addicted. I get on these reels on Instagram, and it's got like stupid stuff happening to people, and I'm always posting it now that it's Larry Melnick,
Yeah.
and I'm just addicted to it. I can't stop.
I know. They're great
Just-
though. Well, that's my friend Frankie Toledo. He was a world champion. He and his brother both were world champions out of Patterson here boxing. And he's got a friend of his, Ronnie. I guess they grew up. I'm pretty sure they grew up together. And he gets random people on the street to go, "Hey, Ronnie." Like,
That's
He had T-shirts made up. It was so
that's
they
funny.
got this going back and forth. It reminds me of you and Melnick.
that is funny. Yeah, when you do stuff like that, like everybody's like, "What is wrong with you?"
Oh no, it's awesome. He'll have a party and boys in the pool. 1, 2, 3. fuck you, Ronnie.
I see. I love that stuff. So childish, right?
It is childish,
Yeah.
but it's awesome.
There's
Oh, you know what he did? You know what he does?
what?
I don't mean to. A while back, his wife's no joke. All right. I mean,
Oh.
she's like her and Beth communicate a little bit, and I'm scared
Oh,
because his wife's no joke. But what he does, he'll go downstairs with the phone going, and she's in the shower, and he'll turn off the hot water,
oh,
and he'll scream up, "Fina," and you'll hear, yeah. Or he's got the air horn. He's got the air horn,
Oh,
so she'll
God.
be asleep, and he gets with the air horn. Yeah,
Oh,
he's
there's
a
some
trip.
great videos of. There was this one dad. I haven't seen it recently. He was doing something. I think he was getting dressed in the Batman uniform. Remember this? You haven't seen him.
He
Yeah,
was-
remember that?
That
Bat
guy was good.
It was Bat Dad, right? Yeah.
Yeah, he was
Oh,
good
man.
with the little kids too. It
Oh,
was all
yeah.
clean, good stuff. It
Yeah,
was funny.
totally. Like,
Yeah.
wasn't he always like shooting something at his wife or like?
Yeah, doing
Yeah.
something. It was
Oh,
fun.
I love that stuff.
Yeah.
There's when you watch Boomer Esiason has his morning radio show with Gio. It's awful. He's a great guy. He's a funny guy too. Does a lot of good things. They have a real good crew there. And then one guy, Eddie, I think it's Eddie Scazzeri.
Yeah.
That's the guy's name. He's the he plays all the tapes and all the different kind of stuff. So he's got all these drops, I guess they call them, that are just totally inappropriate, right? So
Mhm.
like if Boomer has somebody like an attractive woman that he's interviewing, so Eddie will drop like nice boobs. You know, it's Boomer saying the words and it's recorded. Oh, it's just hilarious. He gets going on a roll too, and he's like got them all going, and he's got thousands of them supposedly, and all he can find them at the right times. And it just part of the funny part is it's just so inappropriate too, right? That's
Yeah.
why it says.
Well, I'm sure you've seen this Bob Mannery guy who's like a play-by-play guy,
Yeah.
and then he takes any kind of reel and it's pretty funny.
Oh, I know. Oh,
Yeah.
stuff. It is. I'll tell you. Like I did the broadcasting for the San Jose Sharks the first
Right?
year.
Yeah.
And it is funny because there's constantly this thing in the back of the head. You want to say something inappropriate, especially the more comfortable you get. And this guy, terrible, I can't remember his first name, real gentleman. I think he did the games for University of Cal, he did the football games. A great guy. And I think I told the story. We were in Chicago one time. They had the old stadium had the big organ, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
my father was watching. I bought him a satellite dish. And so back then, the satellite dish, you could watch the entire feed. Like, even when they went to commercial, you're watching the entire feed. So we were on a break, and I knew, I really didn't think through. I knew we were on a break, so I was somewhat a little cocky. And the guy had a picture of Barry Manilow, some sheet music on his organ. So I said, I suppose off air, well, that guy's got Barry Manilow on his organ.
Yeah.
And the producers and everything are dying laughing. And they spurred me on. They said, "You won't say that when they come back to." Of course, yeah, say that too. Of course, they knew that I was going to say it once they dared me. And I was kind of surprised that they pushed for that, because I kind of thought, well, geez, maybe I'm pushing the limit.
Yeah, I think in today's world, you might have
Yeah.
caught some heat for that.
Yeah, definitely.
Things have changed in the past few years.
Yeah. So my father's watching, and he's heard the whole conversation, right? He can hear all the, and he's thinking, he was dying laughing too. He was thinking,
Sure.
"Oh, God, he's going to do it. He's going to do it." So he came back, and I said, geez, that guy's got Barry Manilow on his organ. And this older gentleman was just dying. Like, he's partly embarrassed, but partly just
Was
dying.
dying.
Because that wasn't his style at all. He just never would have said it. But we got along great. He was, that was a lot of fun.
Well, you know who were great, and it wasn't intentional, but by the third period, Jim Gordon and the Big Whistle, they were like done.
Yeah, totally.
I'd hear them one time. They didn't know they were on there. Just, quit putting your cans in my trash can, or your beer cans in. They're gonna think they're all mine. Yeah.
So we had that brawl my first year too in the playoffs against the Kings, and said, Bill Chapman goes, "That's going to set the game back 20 years." Like,
is that the one Nicky was in the stands and started grabbing guys?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And to this day, whenever we go to an event, there's always somebody comes up and that was their favorite team, and that brawl and everything too.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yes. Why didn't you stay in the broadcasting field? Mr. Danny Erickson asks. So at the time, I had just retired, and I'd done the radio work because I'd hurt my back my last season in LA, so I was doing the radio work just at home. And then so they asked me to do the TV stuff for the Sharks. I really didn't plan on having that as a career. I also started my agent business at that time. And so the Sharks came to me and wanted me to stay on, but they were only going to pay me it was like $70,000 a year. Would have had to move up to San Jose, which is the cost of living up there was. Yeah, and we had a young family. Yeah, stepson and one other. I think my oldest son Shane was born, and it's just I thought with the agent business now I'm calling my own shots and make my own schedule and everything. So it worked out. I really did enjoy the TV stuff. I also there was a TV station that started One World Sports, as out of Stamford, Connecticut. They were doing all kinds like darts and everything. They did the Russian League,
Ah.
So they'd have the feed come in, and they'd take the sound out, and then myself, Eddie Cohen, who's he does the radio work for the Knicks now.
Right. Yeah.
So we would do the games in this little booth. It was a blast. It was good.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, go in there with a pair of shorts on, and
Was that the KHL at the time?
KHL, yep.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so it really helped too, because there's one time the team got out late for a period, I think it was, and they got called a penalty for delay a game.
Mhm.
And because it's just, you'd be the same way. You've seen so many games, even though I didn't know, like nobody told us that's what happened.
Mhm.
You could just read it right through the way it was going. And so I remember to do stuff like that. And they were looking at me like, "Man, you're this wizard." Like it's just, you're it is. You're around the game your whole life. It's
Sure.
yeah, it's pretty cool.
What that's a wild league too. The KHL.
Yeah. Well, and Panarin was playing at that time in that league, and he was good. He was a good player, but he's been far better NHL player, and the KHL isn't as good. It kind of surprised me that he was so good. I remember when he was coming over, and I thought, well, he's a good player.
And he wasn't drafted. Chicago did not draft him.
Yeah, I don't think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so how are we feeling? We vented a little bit today.
Yeah, I feel better now. I'm gonna go meditate.
So I put that opening in my back fence there. I put it one of my deck chairs there, and I think people are thinking, "Well, he's doing that so the dogs don't get in." I said, "No. So I can't get out. So I'm going to jail. I'm going to jail soon."
This is self-preservation.
Oh, it is true too.
Yeah.
I was sitting there and I was like, "Oh, okay, that's better." Because it's all like, I'm sure the same way. You don't really want to get to that point where you lose your mind like that.
Well, the thing is, too, what really struck me after we had this incident yesterday, and there were 4 squad cars, and we're walking back in the house, and Beth goes, "That's the first time police have been here, and it wasn't because of you."
Oh, is that right? Yeah. Well, I'm wondering what the people say. Like, there's the people that run the complex too, right? And I'm friendly with all of them, and the guys working and everything. I'm sure people got to say to them, like, stay away from Laidlaw.
It's nuts.
Yeah.
But that's good. Well, that's the other
Yeah.
thing. We were walking a dog a few years ago, and I forget what happened, and she goes, "Yeah, that kid's scared of you." I go, "Good."
Yeah.
Good.
Well, this is true. First time I heard that was, I think it was Mark Luttrell. I saw a documentary, and I think he was talking about his dad or some guy he was training was his older guy. So one of the worst things about getting old is that people are not afraid of you anymore.
Right.
And I never thought about that much, but because
it's true.
Yeah, it's true.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like you get told like, "Tom, you intimidate everybody." I'm a happy-go-lucky guy. I'm having fun, but yeah, I guess there's that snap ability thing, right?
Well, that happens.
Yeah.
Like the Champ, the radio show. Yeah, the Champ.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. Oh, the Champ. The Champ, the movie.
No, wasn't there like a radio show? It's Canadian, and then I saw red. He misinterpreted what the guy said to his wife.
Oh.
And then I just snapped.
Oh,
I'm sure you heard. Oh my God, this is terrible.
How about the movie? Oh, here's our buddy Keith. Gotta get him on.
Keith Morano, good man.
Yes. Another magical veteran here. I like that reputation. My kids' friends say, "Oh, your dad's a little nuts." Yeah, it is true. Yeah, you don't really, and I think you don't even try to do it. I think it's even better that way, right? Like you just.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's if you have to work at it, it's not you.
Yeah. Totally. Yeah, it's fake. Everybody can see that it's fake.
I'm sure you can attest to this. I remember one time it was the first shift, and we're going toward the wall, and I used to slow down, and the guy's head and kind of face him.
Oh.
And I went to the box again and bench, and the coach, "What'd you do that for?" I go, "Oh, I really don't know. It just happened. Like I didn't plan it out. It just happened."
Oh, I know, right? God.
Yeah.
Oh, I've told you so many times. When I was in college, I seriously really thought that I was the toughest man on the planet. I'm not exaggerating that. Like
That's
I really
good.
thought. Yeah.
That's where you got to be.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Okay. All right. So normally we're helping other people. I would say today was more of a self-help day for you and I.
Yeah.
Right?
I don't think we did much, but yeah.
I tell you, it was funny because before we got on the show, I said to Mark, Mark, I'm in a terrible mood. He goes, "Me too." He's like, we both had, oh God. Oh.
Well, that's quantum mechanics. 2 different atoms can be spinning in the same direction, separated.
I know. All right. So the world really hasn't changed. I guess it's like the old saying, the same boiling water that makes a potato soft makes an egg hard. So you can't let the environment dictate. So that's a good lesson for us.
Make your pressure turn you into a diamond.
Right. Good point by you. But you know what it is, dude? Like you can't be perfect, right? You're going to have some days where you're just in a bad mood. It's just acknowledge it.
Yeah. If you know you're there, you then just kind of make sure you stay alone for the most part of the day.
Isn't that true? Yeah.
Don't go out in public. Yeah.
Oh, no kidding. Like I haven't, I think, well, I did my working out and everything like that, but there's always something going on too. Like there's a nice young cleaning lady that cleans the gym. Which I have the key for. She just gave birth actually. So her husband and her daughter were going to go to the gym to clean the gym just twice a week. So yesterday, I'm thinking, okay, I'm locking myself in the house. I'm not going anywhere. She calls, and Tom, she's such a sweet person too. Just had a baby. And Tom, do you have the key? Can you go to the job? So I had to go. I mean, it's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
yeah. So yeah.
Yeah, we're good guys. We just, sometimes you have a bad day, or a bad week, bad
Yeah,
weekend.
it's been bad. It's been a bad week. Yeah.
But you know what it
Yeah.
is? So, like, when I sat down today and started analyzing it, what set me off was the TV, and that was my fault.
I
That
know.
wasn't that guy's
Yeah,
fault.
yeah.
He said you want 43. I gave you 43, but I didn't know it was diagonal, so it's on me. And then that set the tempo for the whole weekend.
Yeah.
Kill
In
everybody.
some ways, it's even worse, right? Like you made the
Yeah.
mistake. Like then
I
you
know.
can't even be mad at yourself, right? Because if somebody else does, you can be mad at them. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's
God.
totally me. In general, it usually is me. And then
How many times have you done that where you go to Home Depot going for something and you'd say, this is it. You're confident that this is the right size, this is the right one, and you come home and now you get
Listen.
like 3 or 4 of them because you got to go back.
I go to Home Depot, it's like stepping on the face of the moon. I'm so lost.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I was good at like certain things like roofing because all you do is hammering all day.
Right.
You don't have to know anything. A monkey could do it, so that's why I did it. But in terms of other stuff, no, I'm not the handiest guy around.
How about like you go to Home Depot, they have a whole wall of different light bulbs, right?
Yeah.
And you're like, what? Like, you stand there.
I
and
just
stare
want a
at it.
light bulb.
Yeah, you stand there and stare at it, like, and some of them are like 10 times as much as others, and like 300 hours or whatever.
Well, even going online, when I went online to look at TVs, they're all like 3,000. Like, where's it like a $500 TV?
I
You know,
Yeah.
so it's I guess maybe we're getting old. It's getting harder to navigate around.
God, okay. Well, I feel better.
So next, by the way, before I forget, next Sunday, September 10th, it's New Jersey Warriors. We're doing our second annual Patriot Day shootout.
Yes.
Yeah, so we're going to take 2,977 shots on net. I think we got like about a half a dozen goaltenders we're going to surround. Obviously, each shot represents each soul that we lost on that day.
Cool.
And what's cool about the rink, it's in a mall, and then that wraparound scoreboard. So the names of all those that we lost
Oh,
go through that all day long. And
wow.
yeah, I wasn't there last year because it was the day after I had my surgery, but we're looking for we're going to have our New Jersey Warriors. We're going to have some fire departments, some first responders, and law enforcement guys
Cool.
there that play hockey. So it's going to be fun.
Cool. I think it was last September 11th. I was invited. The Rangers has me go down to a fire station in Manhattan, where I think
I
they
remember.
lost. Yeah, I remember it was the second most. They lost the second most.
Yeah.
And you know what I liked is, much as they really obviously missed their loved ones, but it was a real celebration too of what they were. The fact that they were off duty, most of these people, and they still
Right.
went downtown. They could have gone home.
Well, we did. We stayed on 9/11. We stayed across the street from the Garden at the Southgate.
Right.
And there was a firehouse like right adjacent to it, and they took a big hit as well.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
It's so man, it's amazing how long ago that is now, right? Like,
I
it
know.
yeah.
When we talk about it, it still seems completely surreal to me
Yeah.
because
yeah.
I had a lot going on. I mean, it was the first day of training camp, and it was the test day, and we're in the Garden, we're testing players, and you start hearing stuff, and you go, you kind of don't understand what's going on because you're wrapped up in what you're doing. I think we had like 58 guys in camp, so we had two groups. And Don Maloney lost his brother-in-law. His brother,
I knew him too. Yeah.
Yeah, he worked for Canner.
Yep. Yeah.
So it was a tough day, but for everybody. But yeah.
Well, for me, the memory that I have, the most vivid memory is sitting watching the TV after the first tower had been hit, and you're still kind of like, okay, what's going on? This is strange. The hole looks kind of big, and then all of a sudden you're seeing the second plane come in, and like it's almost like, what? No, it can't be real. And
I
I
didn't
realize.
I didn't see either one, but what happened was, so the second group came in. I think I'm trying to remember now, but Mike Bazinski. Did you know Mike Buzzy? Plays for Philadelphia.
Oh yeah, Buzniak.
Yeah,
Buzniak.
Yeah, Buzniak. Best story about him was he played a year in Italy, came back to the American League, and he lines up against Archie Henderson, another tough guy.
Yeah, big guy too.
And Henderson says, "I'm happy you're back in the league." He goes, "Why?" Because now I'm not the ugliest guy in the league anymore. But he came walking in, and he was like ashen. Like, I'm Buzzy, what's going on? He goes, "Mark, a second plane. What are you talking about, second plane?"
Yeah.
And I had to go down to Cosby's to get some FedEx package for Lennox Hill for something to do with the metabolic cart. And while I'm waiting for the kid to go back and get it, the first tower came down, and I'm just standing there going, "What is going on, man? Holy crap! This is like crazy."
Yeah, and the only, I guess if you can say a good thing that came out of it, just seemed like we were so united right after that.
Mhm.
Politicians,
It
and
was
everybody.
great. And where'd that
Yeah.
go? Where did that
Yeah,
go?
no kidding. No
The
kidding.
flags everywhere. Everybody loved each other. Everybody was
Yeah.
a patriot.
Yeah.
And now, if you use the word patriot, it means you're a bad person, which I don't get.
I know. Oh God, yes.
What's wrong with
Yeah.
loving your country and loving your people
Oh, I know. Right.
and loving your flag and loving all those people like my dad and many men and women who sacrificed
Yeah.
for us?
Excuse me. I had a.
It's just
I
ridiculous.
know. I had a person say to me, pretty nice person too, but younger, like in her early 20s or late 20s. And something came up, a national anthem, whatever. And she just didn't want to hear it. She says, I hate this country. And she's like born here, raised here. And I was like, what?
I will give kids a pass because when I was a kid, when I was a young guy, it was Vietnam War was going on and all Nixon and everything. So, but Tom, the golfer, Tom Watson, is that his name?
How
Yeah.
much? Yep. Mhm.
He was being interviewed, and the interviewer said, "Hey, when you were younger, you were a pretty liberal dude or liberal guy. Now you're much more conservative." And he summed it up, and I think it's so true. He goes, if you're not a liberal when you're young, you don't have a heart. But if you're not a conservative when you get older, you don't have a brain.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yes. Our buddy Brian Duffy was flying across the Atlantic. We were instructed to land in Shannon Island. Yeah, that's the thing too, right? A lot of people just like
Yeah. So a good friend of mine, Steve Brown, Scuba, they call him. He's a SEAL, former retired SEAL, and at that time he was training near Italy, and what his gig was, they would come out of subs, do the thing, come back, nobody even knew they existed, right? So they came out of the sub like James Bond,
Yeah.
you've seen it, they really do that stuff. And when they came up, he said an admiral walked down to the end of the dock and said, "Gentlemen, we're at war." They turned around and went back to the sub, and that was it.
Wow.
Yeah, on 9/11 or 9/12 or whatever it was.
Today's the 4th, so it's a week from today, right?
Yeah, Monday. Yeah.
Next Monday. Well.
So that's at the American Dream Mall in Rutherford. We're going to start at 6 p.m.
Oh, cool.
And I feel bad for Jimmy Jam, our goaltender. He's
Yeah. Screw the goaltender.
it's going to
Screw
look
the
like
goaltender.
Denny. What was his name? And slap shot when he's taking all the shots. Yeah.
It's funny. Last alumni game we played in was in Dallas, and Mike Fasulo, who works for the Rangers, was in that. Pretty good goaltender too. And I told him before, I said, "Listen, I'll see you after the game because I'm not coming back to my own end." He just got shelled. I went back one time, and he was beat ready. It was good. He was playing well too. It was just they were going nuts.
Don't expect me to block any shots.
Yeah, right. I'll see you later. nice knowing you. All right, everybody. Great job. Go ahead, vent a little bit.
I feel better already.
Yeah, it is. Get somebody that you know that won't throw this back at you. So somebody that you can talk to, and then will not bring it up later on. Like, some kind of.
We all go through it.
I know, right? Isn't that the key? I saw a video of somebody saying that. Like a really good friend is the one that you can go talk to him about your stuff. He doesn't have a counter story. He just listens to you, doesn't throw it back at you. So, one more, our buddy, we got to get him up here. Barry.
Oh, Barry, yeah.
Most emotional moment playing was coming back from serving in South Korea in 1981. Plane was full of service members returning as they landed in California. Woke up. Oh, wow. That's cool. That's really cool.
Yeah. That's tremendous. And again, those are the things that, like, how long ago was that, Barry? It was a long time ago. But to you, I'm sure it was like 3 minutes ago.
Yeah,
we'll always remember that. Yeah.
And that's the thing too. We do talk, and I think it's important before we say goodbye that we do mention this. Is there some bad people, or the people that are getting selfish in the world and not thinking of others yet? But there's so many fantastic people out there too, right? We have to remember that. It's just, I guess, when we run into the people that are negative or not being respectful, it hits you more than.
Yeah, it's hard to be that person. But my dad told me, he said, never look up, never look down, look people in the eye, and stick your hand out, and totally. Say, how can I help?
Yeah, totally. It's very true. All right. All right, everybody.
Or stick your hand out.
Yeah, well, they deserve that. I've locked myself into my back deck there. I can't get out. It's going to take.
You better
it'll
stay
take
in
a
the
while.
compound for a while.
Yeah, it'll take me a while to move the chairs. So, I'm hoping by the time I move the chairs and I've calmed down enough. But I did have a vision yesterday where some guy I could tell he was walking the dog out there. He's going, no, stay here. Like I could tell he just didn't have it on a leash. I'm thinking, okay, sit down, shut up, just like don't. But then it keeps going. I think I'm going over the chair. I'm going to dive over the chair. All right, everybody.
At least you thought it through.
That's true. Yeah, for a bit. All right, everybody. Have a fun day today. Last day of the holiday weekend. We'll see everybody next week.